You know, that's kind of what triggered this thing. And we have to sit here and discuss it. Because of the back politics that's involved in this. You know, I mean, I know this council was not gonna raise any taxes any more than they absolutely have to, if any. But, you know, I just hate that we have to even bring it up on our agenda and discuss it. Because of maybe some towns, I know counties, but maybe some towns that are running those huge fund balance. And not pass it along to the citizens in certain ways.
This, excuse me, this does include not just restricting ad valorem property taxes, but also just lots of different reforms to the policies about taxing. And some of it does have to do with tax exempt status for affordable housing. So there could be some of those portions of it that go through, but our representative from the League of Municipalities kind of assured us that we're not gonna, it's probably not gonna do away with our ability to levy taxes, but because they're fighting pretty hard about that, but there are some parts of it that we need to make it.
Do we have any input at all from Representative Strickland or Senator Sorry?
I have not gotten any from either one of them yet.
We don't know.
Not that they didn't.
So we don't know if the policy. Yeah,
I don't know that yet. I would think that once he receives all of these, because I think pretty much every municipality in Johnson County is planning to send in this month with the first.
I mean, I'd be very curious to know what our representatives like Senator, what their feelings is, what they're saying. And the reason I say that is because they obviously have more knowledge than just us reading, what the reason, you know, what we have in our package. You know, that's one point of view, of course, so I'd be curious to know what they think.
I do know that, BDS carried 2 nights, panel discussion on this, and, the mayor of Clayton is now the president of the league this year, and he was on one of those discussions, and from what I understand, it's maybe hitting the municipalities a little bit more than it is the counties, but it's gonna, if it goes through, if we don't, they'll know if we don't own this, it's gonna hit us with the profit. So we need to back the lead when they're, lobbying for us.
And if you notice the last couple of paragraphs in the resolution, you're not urging them to not pass a bill with all of these reform issues. You're basically urging them to make sure that they preserve your authority to levy taxes, the property taxes, which provides the revenue. And that if they do some sort of reform that would affect that it wouldn't, that they would provide some kind of sustainable alternative for municipalities. So, like I said, there are other parts of the reform that's being brought forward that do not have to do with levying taxes. But the resolution specifically speaks to us being able to keep that authority.
And I'm just not, I read every word that I received. I just, you know, read so much and get more confused. More to read. I don't, looking at it from one point of view. And that's where the league ought to be. That's what they're there for. But I don't know, you know, enough about it, because there's not enough information out there to know what the particulars are as far as, okay, are they on the street, they can't go up so much per year, you know, over a number of years. I mean, there's no particulars about this. It's just, oh, they convene the committee. But I hadn't seen any particulars on, you know, what they may be trying to restrict. I know they had, you know, Georgia in there. But I don't know, I don't have that information.
I don't think that they've got, those
I don't think
documents
it's too.
they're just, presenting it and starting to talk about it.
Well, here's my concern, here's my own concern, is we vote on this resolution. We vote on this resolution, we pass a resolution, it goes to the league, and they forward it on. We know we're gonna be responsible. But if we do that, and we tie our name, our council, this council, to that petition or whatever. It's really, I don't see how it's really about channels like us. I just don't, I think it's more. I think it's more.
Well,
bigger up.
The resolution would maintain a municipality, and we are a municipality. So it would, that's the way it would work, so it would mean that it would affect us just like it would everybody.
But I think it needs to include county. You know, you have tax reevaluation. And you back it down to where it's higher than it was before the tax reevaluation, you do a numbers, car dealership numbers, yeah. And you're sitting on all this ton of money. You know, I mean, I don't know enough about it really, but and that's my problem. I don't want to tie us in with the resolution that we can one day be tied to, and we don't have all the information right now, other than the league and what they recommend. That's-
So basically, all this resolution is saying is that we are passing this resolution to ask them to protect the right that we have to levy taxes. That's basically all it's saying. I mean, we're not saying that we want this to be tied to anything else, or but we want them to protect our right to levy taxes. And that's basically that right, Dan?
Right, so again, the last two paragraphs of the resolution says that you're resolving that the town of Wilson Seals respectfully urges the General Assembly to preserve the municipal property tax authority and avoid legislation that would significantly reduce or restrict this essential local revenue source without providing a sustainable and equivalent alternative. So whatever is decided, even if they make decisions about county taxing authority, this resolution is saying that we would like for them to keep our authority the same or provide an equivalent solution. So that's not,
all it's doing. I mean, we're not saying that we're gonna put our name on something and we're gonna be guaranteed that this is what we're gonna do. We're just asking them to leave the fact that we can levy taxes where it is. So, I mean, the resolution is not broad, it doesn't cover a lot of the other stuff that they were talking about, but this is just simple. That,
right, and the second part of that also says that we would request that any proposed changes to the property tax system, which could be municipal or county, I guess, would be carefully evaluated to ensure that municipalities retain the ability to adequately fund public safety, infrastructure, and other essential services. So again, if they come up with some sort of reform that gives us an alternative to that revenue, we're just trying to make sure that we keep the revenue that we've got so that we continue to fund the services that we need to service the citizens of the town.
Mayor, I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we adopt the resolution in support of preserving municipal property tax authority and protecting property tax funded service.
motion made. Motion made by Councilman McGowan, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Trippett. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
The second item on your agenda is a call for a public hearing. It's a resolution to call a public hearing for the town of Wilson Mills charter change. And, this is something that you've been discussing to change the charter from a mayor council form of government to a council manager. And you have questions? Ready to go here. Answer those.
We don't have any comments about this resolution, we talked about it for 3 months. This would be calling for a public hearing.
Right.
That would be at, April 20, April 20.
I make a motion that we call for public hearing, for resolution against Wilson Fields to consider and change the ordinance amending the charter of the town of Wilson Fields concerning this town administrator. At the next, at our next, council meeting. What I need to add. Just want to make sure I may have misheard the that we're considering to adopt the resolution of intent and to call a public hearing. Right. Well, that's what I meant. Yes, if I didn't say, yeah.
We are adopting the resolution that calls for the public hearing.
The public.
Call for a public hearing on our April 20th meeting. Motion made by Councilman Brown, seconded by Councilwoman McDonald. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
The next item that was added to the agenda is, the Johnson County Economic Development Board. Every 2 years, is that right, Ms. Caroline? Every 2 years or every 3 years? Asks for the representatives of the town to, review the applications for the member on the board that represents Town of Wilson's Mills. Councilmember Carolyn Dobbin has been on it this past round. Mayor Person J.C. Trickle was on it before. This time, Ms. Dobbin has reapplied, and they have also received a second application from John Stovall, who lives on Little Creek Church Road in Clayton. And the Board of Commissioners always asks for the council members to review these and give them a recommendation of who you would like to represent them on that board. You're not voting to appoint this person, you're voting to recommend this person to the Johnson County Commission.
I've read personally both applications, and thought about it. And didn't have to think too much about it. I'm going to recommend on my side that we retain Carol Dobbin as our representative.
Motion made that, we recommend to the county commissioners, Carolyn Dobbin as our representative. Seconded, motion made by Councilman McGowan, seconded by Councilwoman Roberts. And is there any more discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
The next item on the agenda is a policy amendment to the municipal personnel policy, and if you'll remember back on March 19th, 1 year ago today, in 25, you passed or you changed the policy to allow the police department to receive overtime rather than comp time. And now that the police department is pretty much on their way to full staff on all shifts, you would like to remove that from the policy. I'd be happy to answer any questions about that, but we put it on and taken it off and put it back on, but now we're looking to take it off. And it's a budget decision.
I make a motion that we amend the Article 3, pay plan section 2, overtime / compensation time by removing the following effective. Do I need to read this whole thing?
on record.
You don't need to.
It's just I make a motion to, approve the motion.
Motion made by Councilman Brown to approve the amendment. Seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Trigger. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
One last item, just as an update, the, council chamber renovations are almost complete. This will be our last meeting at the pool. And, the work session next Monday, the 23rd, will be in the new chambers. We'll have the AV crew from the company who installed it there. Make sure we get all the bugs worked out. And then our first regular meeting will be next April. The next meeting will be April, so that will be the new chamber. We are looking at doing the open house on Monday, May the 4th. And so we would send out, we'll be sending out invitations for that and over top of that. Exciting. That's all I'm going.
Okay. The next item is a call for a public hearing on the UDO. And y'all have a copy of changes to be made. Now, we're not discussing the changes tonight. We are calling for a public hearing. Because these are things that need to be looked at, reviewed. If you have any questions, call Wendy, so that when we get next month at our public hearing, we can discuss all the items that you have questions about. And I have some, maybe I will tell you right now. But we need to make sure that we read it, and if you want to call Wendy to get more detail of what the planning board said, or what we did say, or how this would come to us, but we're just calling for the public hearing tonight, so that we can discuss everything openly at our April meeting.
Make a motion that we call a public hearing for Monday, April 20th. 6:30 at the town's regular scheduled council meeting. Be held at Wilsonsville Town Hall. 408 Manhattan. Wilsonsville, Denver. That is the meeting. Excuse.
I second.
Motion is made by Councilman Brown, second by Councilwoman Mark Riley to call for a public hearing on an April meeting. So is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. The next item is to call for a public hearing for a special use permit. You have the application here in front of you, so we need to call for a public hearing at our April 20th meeting for a special use permit for 115 Gladstone Blue and Crescent Hills.
Make a motion that we call for a public hearing for Monday, April the 20th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. at the town's regular scheduled council meeting held at Wilson's Mills Town Hall. 40838 Adam, Wilson's Mills Road, Wilson's Mills. Second.
Motion made by Councilman Brown, called for public hearing, seconded by Councilman McDowell. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The next item is an appointment for a new planning board member, and Ms. Charlotte is with us tonight. If y'all would like to meet her, she wants to take Ms. Riley's place on the planning board, so this is her application.
I look at and see how read it there. I made a motion that you approve. I heard how long was it planning? And thank you so much for your service.
Motion made by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Donovan. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Charlotte, for wanting to serve.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Information about this.
Next on the agenda is comments on council. Anyone? Like to make any-
Yeah, I just want to thank you, Mr. Knox, once again for stepping up to the plate like that. We certainly appreciate it. Are you in from the cottages? Where do you, are you live in the cottages?
No, sir, I'm in Wilson's Ridge.
On Wilson, oh, okay. All right, oh, okay, yeah, very well. Thank you. Well, once again, thank you very much. And, even before we start next month, I did have half a day to spare this week, and I read through the UDO as modified. I know we're not going to talk about it, but I just want to say thank you to the planning board for jumping in on this, and Wendy. It's going to be a big deal. We're going to have a lot to talk about next time, so thank you all for doing it. And thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate it.
Anyone else? Any comments?
No,
Well,
On the subject of the planning board. Ms. Riley had asked me to get a copy of the absences for the last 12 months for the planning board, and I had Cynthia pull that together for me. That's what you have in front of you. We actually got numerous applications for that one seat that you guys just filled. And you wanted to know if we had any that had missed more than 3 meetings, and I did not think we did, but after Cynthia pulled this, we do have one. Y'all asked for the information, so what you do with it is at your pleasure, and that way I know what I need to do to keep you going to the people.
I think you have a information that you need, the planning board needs to take care of.
Yeah, I agree. I think the planning board needs this is their board, and they need to have input.
You got the council appoints, and so we would be working at the direction of the council on whatever your decision was on that.
I would just suggest to take this to the
Planning board.
planning board, and
I
all
think
discuss it.
Yeah, you and the planning board need to get together and,
Okay.
if it's somebody that needs to be removed, then remove.
now let's not dwell and carry this thing out for months.
Yeah.
We made the rule, we gotta stick by it. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you for this information, though.
Anyone else? Anyone else have any comments? It is now time for our second open forum. Anyone wishing to address council, please come forward, say your name and address, and comments, please. No one wishing to come forward, we close the second open forum at 7:05.
Mayor, I make a motion that, I guess the item B is still, make a motion that we're going to close session. And 143 -318, 118 Adam, parentheses 6, close parentheses.
Motion made by Councilman Brown, and second by Mayor Pro Tem Tribble, to go into closed session, all in favor?
Aye.
I thank everyone for being here.
No, so we'll just put in the benefit outside. Lynn, do you need this? Closed session? There you go.